my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So we've got Hannah here again. And we thought...
She's not got rid of me yet.
No, she's not leaving. We thought we would do another video all about something we just like to talk about sometimes. We regularly talk about it. We have a bit of a laugh about it. So we thought we would bring this humour to the internet, to the spiritual sphere, to just call a bit of bullshit, really.
Basically.
Like, we have a term for it, but that will be saved for a grand reveal. We generally feel that at some point this could actually be a thing.
It definitely will.
So we won't call it what I have channeled as the ancient meaning of the word bullshit. I mean, I probably have channeled it, but it was a bit of a joke. It was on the way to Glastonbury, wasn't it? It was just so off the cuff, wasn't it, that I just came out with this. They were like, that was actually really good. Like,
it's very good, but it's also true in a reality space that we live in.
Definitely. And I think since I've kind of dealt more with the spiritual sphere and like seen other teachers, mentors, all of this, I think both of us just agree that there's just a bit of, and I'm not just talking about mentors and stuff, I'm talking about like even concepts and stuff like that.
And
like
groups of people.
Everything, absolutely everything in the spiritual sphere. We've just come across stuff and we're just like,
no.
We call
and there's
bullshit.
Hierarchy and stuff. I think it's remembering that, you know, there's this whole spiritual thing, but it's sometimes it feels like somebody's here and you're there.
You're like
and there's
lower.
Still this gap because you're
yeah.
not spiritual enough. And I think that's the first kind of point to make here, that people, you know, there seems to be this thing.
We haven't got to that bit yet.
You haven't got to it yet.
We haven't got to it yet. You're ruining the concept of the video. So what I was going to say before Hannah started was that we have written lists of what we would say, like, you're not spiritual enough if, and then we've put points that come up quite frequently for us, you know, like in our own careers, what we hear, what we witness, what we see, like we've just
what we've experienced as well.
Yeah, definitely, or what other people have experienced. So without further ado, go into your first point.
You're not spiritual enough if you get angry.
Very
if you're
true.
Spiritual, you shouldn't be getting angry.
You should be a calm little
all the
peace
time.
lily.
I've had that all the time. People have actually said to me in my life, I thought you were meant to be spiritual, Hannah.
My dad says this to me all the time. Whenever he riles me up and says something and I'm just like, will you just, he's like, oh, that's not spiritual, Emma. You can't be spiritual if you're raising your voice. I'm like, I'm sat here with a calm voice. I'm just getting passionate.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to understand, as we made that Divine Feminine video, anger is fine, anger is healthy, anger is part of the spectrum of emotions that we feel. It's important to feel it all. And it doesn't mean you're any less spiritual if you're having a bit of a moment where you feel angry. And it's important if we swallow that stuff down. But I think there was a time where it was kind of, if you're not all like love and light and, you know, you mustn't get angry about things. And it's about feeling the anger and then letting it go and moving on.
In a healthy way.
Yeah, moving through that anger.
Definitely.
And I think if we don't feel it, we end up with it all built up inside of us, and it can come out in some very kind of not so nice ways then.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's almost like allow your anger to be part of your sacred experience and don't feel afraid of it. It definitely does not make you any less spiritual. And I know just it's made me so mad when it's been said to me so much, because I know that I've got, like, you know, I'm just human, and that's the thing after all, like, we are having this human experience, and it's really, really important to remember that.
We have to honour our human side as well. I always hear we're souls having a human experience. Totally true. But let's honour both sides, human and soul. And I know, you know, when we have like little bitch fits or tantrums, you know, the ego comes into full force, it pipes up, and yes, we need to witness when our ego is having a little bit of a moment. But for me, like, I used to suppress anger so much, and I would just forgive people, love people, and they would do it again. They would, you know, they'd screw me over again. The lesson would persist, and I was like, why is the lesson persisting? I'm loving, I'm lighting, I'm forgiving. And it was because I genuinely had to release this. I had to feel angry. I had to, you know, even if it was just, you know, calling you up and, like, you know, getting upset, it was releasing that.
And
being
knowing
like,
it's okay to do that, because it really, really is okay to be angry about. And also it's really important. There's a lot going, I think the other point is that we need to recognize there's stuff on that does go on in the world that does make you angry. It's okay it's good to voice your opinion about those things. And it's not saying that we can't see things differently and about attracting the right things, but we can bypass and ignore things some of the time. And that's really important as well.
Definitely. Well, the point I've written is you're not spiritual enough if you're not thinking positive thoughts all the time. So basically, if you think any negative thoughts,
you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. Something bad's gonna happen. I hear this so freaking much.
And people get scared.
Oh my God,
people
it's
get
scaremongering.
really worried that you know, that something's going to happen to them, or maybe I'm not spiritual enough because I'm thinking these negative thoughts. And
well, I'm just gonna say I still have negative thoughts.
Same.
They never leave. It's how you deal with them. It's how you deal with the ego and not talk it down, but give it love.
Becoming neutral.
Yeah.
Give it love and become neutral to that space. And I think that's a really kind of key thing. You're going to have those thoughts, and those thoughts, remember, are mirrors in polarity. Remember that we have darkness and light inside of us, and if we don't witness both of those things and integrate them into ourselves, we're not going to, you know, we're always going to be kind of switching between the two.
And you just think of it like the yin and yang, isn't it? Like you've got to have both to balance. And
but it's definitely, you don't need to just be wholly like positive Polly all the time, because you will just burst in the end. I know that I've been through times and experiences where I've tried to kind of hold it all together, think positive, think positive, when actually I'm thinking something else. So, and I'm shoving it down. I feel there have been times in my life where I've swallowed so much down because I've been almost afraid to not say something negative.
Definitely.
And you know, you are, like you say, you're going to have moments where you might say something negative, but witness it. You know, it's so important. We need to witness these things within ourselves and get somebody out. If you're struggling, get someone else to help you witness that.
Definitely. And like, I get it all the time in law of attraction, like with clients, with like when you guys comment and stuff saying like, I don't get why my vibe's so bad or something like that. And I'm like, okay, when you think negative thoughts, what did you do? I just immediately think positive. I bypass it. I shut it down. I was like, no, you've got to feel it. So a lot of the time is when your vibration's affected, when you're just feeling funky, when you're like, I'm trying to be positive and I just feel shit. It's because you've got to feel it. Again, we talk about the bypassing. Like, you've got to feel it. You've got to work through it to heal it. Like when you just sometimes sit with it, allow it, you know, notice, journal what triggers come up for you, what it's triggering inside of you. That's how you pass through it and heal it and move back into that high vibration.
And you can move up the emotional scale. You know, that's really important to remember, that sometimes you're not always going to be like, if you're in a really crap place and you're thinking crap things, trying to get yourself without kind of doing anything in the middle is going to make you feel crappy anyway, because you're going to keep bouncing back, and then you're going to end that yo-yo effect is a horrible feeling. So it's remembering that you can move more step by step up the emotional scale, and that's really important.
And it's more solid when you do that, when you work on it and build up, you know, not from just 0 to 10, but 0, 1, 2, 3. It's a more gradual process. So if you do have a slight fall or a slight knockback, you're not going down to 0, you're going back down one step. And you know, the universe knows your vibe. Like, you can't lie to the universe, so you can't like fake it in a sense.
You can. And that's the thing to remember is with negative thoughts, it doesn't mean your vibe's off either, because you can be in you can feel in a good place but have a negative thought about something. And if that thought is reality, the one thing that needs to be made clear, if you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that, but actually in reality the thing that you're responding to is a very, you know, normal response, it's really important to remember that, you know, that's a natural response to that situation or scenario. So don't kind of beat yourself up for it. Actually, when you witness that, you can move on from it much quicker and shift and change your space. But you'll never, because what's it I say to you sometimes, what can we do to shift this?
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than like saying, no, like stop thinking those thoughts. Let's have a look at a way we can maybe shift this a small amount. And
look at it differently.
Yeah, look at it differently. That's like very big in A Course in Miracles. Like, how are you willing to look at things differently?
Yeah, definitely. So what's your next point?
My next point is, you're not spiritual enough. You clearly haven't done enough healing. And I know this is a massive one for a lot of people if they're struggling with problems and people feel the need to hide them because they feel they failed. And I have been there a lot. And what it does to you in the end is it makes you feel very bad about yourself. It makes you feel not good enough. And it makes you think like, well, actually, I'm doing everything here. And you stop living your life, and all you end up doing is getting on this treadmill where you think, I have to keep healing. I have to keep healing.
There's more to heal.
There's more to heal. Like, I'm not doing good enough. I must have done something wrong because I've read all these books, done all this stuff, and I'm still, I'm still having these struggles. It doesn't mean you're not spiritual enough. And I just feel so passionate about
demeaning.
this.
At the end of the day, it's demeaning.
Yeah. And we're all different. And imagine if we were all the same, we were all magically puffed. Everything had, suddenly magically got better. Like, we're different. And I think it's, it doesn't mean that we can't shift things, change things, our attitudes, and heal things. And I will always say to people all the time, I believe in miracles. And I know you do as well, 100%. But it doesn't mean that we don't have things to learn in this lifetime. It doesn't mean that we're not having to kind of experience things to
Karmic.
It's at the end of the day. And it doesn't mean you're not good enough. And I personally know the pain of being in that space, and also the shame. It almost it made me hide me for so long because I felt this shame.
Because you said about how much money you spent and stuff.
I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds. My parents, I have, and and I mean, you could name the therapy, and I've joked to you when you laugh like I'm an encyclopedia. We laugh about it, but it's true, and it became an obsession. It became that I was literally, I remember waking up one day thinking, I just had all these affirmations on post-it notes around me and all this stuff, and literally this, that and the other. And don't get me wrong, I do things now to maintain certain quality of life, which I commit to, and they help me. But I've found a balance there, and I've learned to live again. You have to choose life. You have to choose love. You have to choose happiness. Like, they are what matters. That's what matters in life.
Yeah, and that's what we all want.
And that's part of healing. Yeah. Healing is remembering who you are. Healing is remembering love and remembering that you, just choose life. Like, if you're in a really funky place, to anyone watching with the whole, well, I'm not good enough because I haven't healed. You are spiritual. You are good enough. You're doing your best.
We love you.
Yes.
You're doing good.
You are fine.
So this brings me nicely onto my next point of, you're not spiritual enough unless you invest shit tons of money in yourself. So I've seen this mentioned so much online about you're really spiritual if you invest like hundreds of thousands of pounds in yourself. And I'm like...
And you must invest in yourself. And that's not to say that you shouldn't invest in yourself, but it's finding the balance there. And it's so important. There's so much pressure and timers, and if you don't do this course...
It's the marketing bullshit.
It is marketing.
We're trying to approach here. And like, for me, I'm all for investing in yourself. I do courses. I like... what's important is if it is in alignment with you, you feel good about spending that money, you feel excited, and you feel drawn to it.
And it's not going to get you into like debt or trouble. It's knowing that at the end of it, there's not going to be a negative consequence. And I think it's finding that maybe if you think, well, I really want to do this course, or I really want to pay for this session, asking your, hand on heart deep down, is this really gonna give me what I need? Because it's really coming back to basics here. And I think it's remembering that nothing is going to be your savior. Only you are going to be able to save yourself at the end of the day.
Definitely. And it's reclaiming your power again, knowing that you have the power within you to do all of this stuff. Like, watch mentors, watch YouTube videos, watch all the stuff. Like, I love watching stuff, reading books to learn new tools, to learn and evolve. Of course, that's brilliant, but I think where the problem lies is it's just become one big marketing bullshit.
And if you don't do it, things are on a clock or a time, and if you don't sign up now, it's going to go back to being full price. And people have to make money. People have to, in shops, we see it all around us. It doesn't matter whether it's spiritual or non-spiritual. But I think it's about using your discernment and remembering that truly investing in yourself is investing in your happiness and understanding what your core values are with everything as well.
Definitely. And I think what, like you said, you fall into that trap of like,
it becomes an obsession, pressured. And also you start thinking you're not doing enough. This is the problem. Like, you're not doing enough. So then you do one course, and then maybe you've not got... And the other problem is we look at who we think we want to be, and we think by doing that course we're going to become that person. It's really important to remember the best person to be is to become your best version of yourself, and to always come back to that, because you might get good tools, and there's nothing wrong with getting good tools, but remember, you can't replicate another person.
Definitely. And I've had it a lot with coaching. You know, a lot of people come to me and say, what do you guarantee? And I'm like, I don't guarantee anything. I will sit there and give you my whole time, tools, techniques, help you break through stuff, help you see things differently. But at the end of the day, if after that session you don't go away and implement that in your everyday life and work and build on that, I can't guarantee you the dream man, the dream house, the money, the job. Nobody can. Like, you're the one person who can do that. So it's not about seeing these people. You know, I'm a businesswoman at the end of the day.
She loves making money. She's like the pro. No, it's true, but
I do it in a totally different way. I don't force people to do anything.
No.
I put it out there. I make it accessible and affordable. And if people want to do that, brilliant. If not, then I'm not going to say to people like, you must sign up within 10 minutes, otherwise the world will end. Like,
I know, and I think
it doesn't make me feel spiritual at all doing that.
No, and I think it is a problem that exists right now, that people are trying to, and it's good when people are trying to offer their services, and the problem is we are saturated right now. The internet is saturated with, a lot of the time, with good things, but they become into this kind of more negative thing, because there's this kind of energy around it that if you don't do X, Y, Z, and nobody's saying you know, we want people to come to Emma's event, you know, the summit, and come in and, you know, make that day investment. But it doesn't mean Emma wouldn't want to think someone would do that.
I'm not going to charge you 500 quid for that.
But also, you don't want somebody to do that if it wasn't.
No,
exactly.
No.
And
because
so
I want people to feel good about my work and feel good about themselves.
And I think it's finding that balance, and it doesn't mean, and it's also remembering that in life, with all of these things, so many people buy courses but don't always follow them through. No. It might well be that the best thing for you is making sure you're in the right space at the time. You might be better off investing a smaller amount, entering into maybe someone's group each month, or just on a smaller scale. Like, it's finding the different kind of modalities that are going to kind of work for you. But if you're seeing, go to this conference, it's X, Y, Z, and if you haven't been, you're going to learn strategy and I think it's working. Is that what you really want? Ask yourself that. Is that what I truly want? My heart wants.
Definitely, and a lot of it preys on desperation. That's what I've learned.
And I've been there, and I think that for me has been a big problem.
Like, having studied like psychology and like the human psychology, like, really fascinates me. And when I went to Tony Robbins' event, like, it was incredible. I loved it, but Jesus, the people before him, like, there was literally like mind tricks going on. Like, they were doing like mind control on people to like literally make people like run up to the stage.
Used a lot.
Like, run up to the stage, invest £3,000 in this course, only one person's gonna get this. The one person is like, yes, I got it, give me your card, pay £3,000. The next 100 people who pay £3,000 are gonna get this course, and you're like, oh my god. And you just think like, who are these people? Like, what? Not saying that everybody has to be qualified, like, Jesus, I'm not a flipping like scientist, but you just think like there's just something really shady about it. And that's what I call out, because I just think, why do we need to like almost force people out of desperation to buy something? Why can't they just buy something because they want to and they feel good about it?
And I think as well, it's about, there's a lot of resources out there, and there's a lot of good books, and a lot of the time it comes down to your own personal commitment.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're jumping from thing to thing, actually that's more of the problem to look at, is why you're doing that. Sometimes it could be small spiritual practices which will build up over time, which will actually help you commit to your dream, or what you want to do, or what you know, what's in alignment with you. But it's constantly coming, it's asking those key questions, isn't it? And not to be swept up, because I don't know, we've all been there. I mean, anybody that's kind of been in this field of things, you see something online, and sometimes the marketing is amazing. Even I'm in admiration of it.
Don't get me wrong, the design work, I'm like, girl, I wish I had that. Like,
and also, you know, I can see from the perspective of the people putting stuff out there, they feel they've created this amazing content. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you know deep down that that's going to kind of cause you a problem to invest in that, it probably in the long term is not going to be the best thing for you to do.
No. And I think what's important to say as well, like, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the teachers, mentors who do this. Like, I respect a lot of them, I follow a lot of them, I buy their books and stuff like that. Like, I love them. I think a lot of it comes down to management, publishers, you know, like the corporate side of stuff, shall we
and
say,
it's about,
rather
at the
than
end of the day,
individual.
you know, everyone wants to make profit, money,
God, it's all money,
and all of
isn't
those
it?
all of those things. But I think it's about using your discernment if there's anything you're going to do. But it doesn't make you any less spiritual if you don't, you know, if you can't invest in yourself. Investing in yourself
can sometimes be, like I talk about it, self-love, self-care.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's a chocolate bar and that's going to make you so freaking happy, that is investing in yourself. If it's seeing your friends, having a relaxing bath, laughing, having a glass of wine, seeing friends, playing with your children, that is all investing in yourself. As long as you feel happy and peace and love,
and that
is
makes
what
you in
you're
alignment.
striving. Yeah, that's what you're striving for.
And I think as well, energy is, you know, so understanding energy as well, the energy
definitely.
investment.
What's your next one?
You're not spiritual if you're drinking coffee and alcohol and poisoning your body.
Well,
personally, both of us don't drink, which is really funny, but mine are for different reasons to Emma. But at the end of the day, I certainly go out with my friends still, and you know, they enjoy a few drinks, and I certainly have no judgment upon them for not doing it. I kind of wish I could join them, and I think we need to definitely stop judging people who are seen to be maybe having a beer or a glass of wine or whatever, or if they get drunk. If you want to get drunk, it doesn't mean you're any less spiritual. And I think it's really, and coffee, I love coffee, as Emma would tell anyone.
Yeah,
double shot.
She's all about the coffee.
I'm all about the coffee. And at the end of the day, these things, I'm not going to say we need to go overboard with them, because it's like anything, isn't it? It's not like if you're drinking 12 cups of coffee a day, then you might need to look at that. But if you're having like
you want to be the healthiest.
No, and if you're having like one cup, you're fine. And I think it's the same with all of it. But it doesn't make you any less spiritual. But there is this kind of consensus that the cleaner you are, the better. And I have been clean. I have gone some very extreme routes for health reasons. I have done cleaner than clean, and I can tell you it hasn't made me any less spiritual.
Well, definitely. And I gave up coffee. I have decaf coffee now because caffeine just really affects me. I have the opposite effect. It sends me to sleep. I remember I had this coffee and I was in town. I was like, oh my God, I literally feel like I'm going to collapse. So I had to give it up because I just couldn't function. And alcohol, again, it just didn't agree with me. Well, I did drink. I used, not heavily, but I always used to have a drink, go out of cocktails and stuff. But in the last year, like, I think just where I've up-leveled, my body's just changed and it can't handle it, and I don't feel good when I have it. And that's when I knew I had to stop. But if I could, I would.
And
don't get me wrong.
What's right for you. At the end of the day, don't think I need to give if you're thinking about giving something up, or and I don't even like that word really, but if you want to stop doing something, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons for you, and that it feels in alignment with you, and it's what you really want to do. And I'm not talking about addiction here, because that's a whole nother topic, but it's got to feel good for you, and don't do it because you think it's going to make you more woo.
Well, I didn't get any more spiritual when I gave them up. I mean, my skin got worse, and yeah, I don't think anything changed. I think it maybe helps me have a clearer head.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're not going to have a hangover, for instance, but it's doing what's right for you. If you want to give it up, do it because of maybe if you think for health reasons, anything, but don't do it because, you know, you think you're going to become more spiritual.
Definitely. Right, the next one is you're not spiritual if you wear nice/designer clothes.
Bad.
So we see this a lot, and I have so much respect for Kyle Gray for speaking out about this. He got so much hate, bless him, about wearing, was it a Gucci top?
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, Jesus, Kyle, you look fucking amazing. Like, I was just there like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just insane.
It is crazy the amount of hate he got for that. And I just think, like, I'm so glad he addressed it, because he was saying, you know, he's seen like incredible teachers like spend like £3,000 on all these like extravagant robes and all these like traditional spiritual things we would class as someone dressing spiritually. And he was like, so what's wrong with spending that amount of money on something more up to date or modern, shall we say?
It's about what works for you at the end of the day, and looking nice or not looking spiritual. And I mean, what does spiritual look like? But at the end of the day,
but I think sometimes it is just times change.
For it,
things need to evolve with, you know, our generation, age, things, and you know what defines spirituality. Baggy trousers, like, do you know what I mean? What is it?
You know, I certainly know that I've been in environments before, and I've been dressed, shall we say, quote unquote, very regular, and I've felt a little bit judged for that. And I think we should be how we want to be. There isn't a right or wrong way to do this, and it's really important. If you can afford it and it makes you happy and it feels good, bloody wear it.
Oh my god, so do it. Like, the money we earn, we can't take that to the afterlife. So if you want to spend that on Gucci, if you want to spend that on holidays, like, I say do it. Like, if you have the money and you're able to do that comfortably and it feels good, I'm such an advocate of, like, you know, feeling good and looking good, and clothes do that for me. I love wearing nice clothes.
And I think it's just really, it is something that's really important to address, because you know, you do see it a lot, and you do see people. We shouldn't be, if you're judging people for doing, you know, for not, you know, wearing the right things, you need to really look at that.
Well, definitely, because there's all this judginess, I feel, and it's like, why are we judging others when we're just meant to love each other for exactly how we are?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, there's, you know, it can be difficult sometimes maybe for people to see if they are struggling, but that again is something that you need to look at more than anything, rather than, you know, taking it out on another person for kind of wearing what you consider to be the wrong thing. Emma is going to get a robe soon though.
I'm not gonna get a robe.
She's gonna get a robe.
I'm not.
She's gonna wear a robe to a conference, people. I've changed from the Moulin Rouge outfit. I'm wearing the feathers and the plumes and the...
She wants bloody miniature ponies, and I'm like, it's not in the budget, Hannah.
It's not in the budget.
If you can get someone to gift as a pony, that's fine, but it's not in my budget.
But she's gonna wear robes now.
I'm not wearing robes. Definitely not. I can be spiritual and look fabulous, darling.
In the glitter suit.
For God's sake. Right, next point.
You're not spiritual unless you're doing things in a certain way. You're not meditating in the right way, or you're not subscribing to this certain thing. There are many ways. It's whatever way works for you.
Yeah. Like, I hear this a lot where people are like, this is like the only way you can do something. This is the only right way. If you do a different variation, like...
How dare you?
How dare you? You're tuning into a different energy, and that is not the energy you want. And I just think it's like, what? Like, there's only... it confuses me when people say that, because I'm like, okay, but so many of us are connected and channeling and, you know, learning new things. Why is it only one way, like one shoe fits all? Why is it not different variations of the same methods, but in a really beautiful way that, you know, more people can relate to and connect to?
Exactly. And I think it's the way I like to look at it is it's all of these little pieces together. I think that's a really important thing. Remember, we're all different facets, we're multi-dimensional beings, and we're all different, and what way is going to work for some person is not always going to work for, you know, for another person.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I'm very specific when I'm meditating, but I would never suggest to another person to do that.
Or like, that's the only way you could do it.
So I just know that particularly way, and chant, I know really works for me. I mean, you know, I'll chant at Emma, but she's not going to be probably chanting at me anytime soon.
Well, I did listen to some chanting in the bath.
Oh, you did?
Got a bit of
I was very proud of the... Yeah, she did download.
I bought 3 albums.
She went on a...
And then I found her on bloody Spotify for free. So I spent 20 quid. I didn't need to.
I feel it was a good investment.
But I invested in myself.
David Pramel will be very happy.
She'll be happy. She got 20 quid out of me.
But I think it's just really, you know, worth remembering there are many ways. And if you go to an event and someone basically tries to sell you
that the rain?
That's a certain way to do something, it's the rain.
That rain!
It's heavy. It's raining all these stuff where we're cleaning out all this stuff here. But there isn't one right way to do things. And sometimes you might change as well. That's worth remembering too, that you may, as you evolve and you grow, you might outgrow things. We're expansive beings, and what way might have worked for you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even a year ago, might not be working for you anymore. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be less spiritual if you stop doing it. It might be you need to bring something else into the mix.
Yeah, or sometimes give it a break. Sometimes I find that when I do EFT too much, sometimes I just need to have a couple of weeks off.
Yeah,
maybe try something different and then come back to it, because then I'm like, oh yeah, there we go, it's raising my vibe again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just remembering that there isn't a right way here. It's fine, and that's why there's so many tools out there. That's why there's so many different teachers out there. That's why there's, you know, different ways for us to investigate, and there's books. That's why there's not a book that you only read this book, else, you know, all of you's gonna fail, you know, in some kind of way. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. So my last point is, you're not spiritual if you're too young. Now,
sorry Emma, bye Felicia.
Well, if I had £1 for every time someone told me this, well, I wouldn't need to work, I'd be bloody rich. So I feel a lot like I get judged, my work gets judged, just because of my
young,
age.
Emma.
Because I'm too young, so I couldn't possibly know anything or have any experience because I'm too young. Now, I never claimed to be anything, and I think that's what people in the industry get wrong. They think I'm trying to claim to be something. I've never claimed to be anything but myself, and that is what I have my experience in. So it doesn't matter whether you're 25 or 55, you know,
we're all different.
We're all different, and if I was too young and I didn't know anything, people wouldn't follow me. I wouldn't have the response I have. So it's really, you know, and I think a lot of people who watch this will probably have the same thing, whether it's, you know, in career or with friends, family.
You don't have enough wisdom. I mean, I have always said to you, all throughout my 20s, I had this. And I just kind of kept quiet in the end, because I think that's what you do. You feel like, well, maybe I'm not, maybe I just need to keep, and I can reassure you that I don't, you know, it doesn't make any difference, age. And remember this as well, like, we come to people at different ages. We come to things, sometimes what's relatable, Emma's relatable to a certain group of people, and it's bringing a new dimension that people that might not have picked up spirituality in a way, and so that's a really positive thing.
And I think so many of us are awakening so much earlier on in life now. I think that's why it's maybe a bit difficult for the older generations to get their heads around.
And I think if people have worked on a path really hard, they feel, oh, that person's come in and they're, and that, you know, that for me, I get it, it's really understandable, but it's also just remembering that just because you've been doing, it's not a competition, and you dissing somebody because they haven't done it X amount of years and maybe they don't know this, that and the other, it doesn't make you any more or less. It's about finding that balance. And you know, we're going to look at, and
we can learn and teach things from one another. Like, for instance, like a couple of ladies I kind of have worked with in the industry who are maybe kind of like my mum's age, a bit older, they learn social media off me and all of the kind of tech sides, whereas I learn more conventional methods off them. So we actually really complement each other, because they've kind of got the experience in the industry, whereas I've got the social experience where I can help them kind of bring their business. So there is such a benefit to having, you know, it's the yin and yang again,
it's
the balance.
Creating a symbiotic relationship with things and thinking that, you know, there isn't your right or wrong thing. So don't, because I think people often feel afraid, don't they, to speak their truth. For so long they want to keep quiet and not share their stuff because maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not saying the right things, or I don't sound like that person.
Haven't invested in myself enough, haven't, you know, haven't spent enough money, or I'm not this age. And it's just like, you don't need any of that nowadays. And you can just be you.
Be you. And it's as simple as, say, you know, if you want to write that book, or you want to, you know, create that blog, that podcast, it's remembering that it all has to start with something, and not to worry if you think your wisdom's not wisdom enough, or there is that, you know, you have to begin and start. And you might be really surprised that, you know, if one person comes back to you and says, that's really helped me, that's an amazing feeling.
Definitely. It's like, for instance, like my old YouTube videos, you know, when I first started the Law of Attraction, when I watch them, I'm just like, wow, like, look how far I've come. Like, I don't connect to that anymore, but you know, things have advanced, I guess, and I understand things a bit more now, or I see things more advanced.
But you can't judge that person.
Well, no, but those videos help people who are also in that beginning stage. So the content you put out, it's like, let's take Gabby Bernstein, for instance. Her content she was doing, 10 years ago, that's going to be relatable to people still who are like at that beginning stage. So it's all relevant when you look at it of, you know, if my content wasn't fresh, or as I'm progressing in beginner, it wouldn't resonate with people who are at the beginning of their journey.
And it'd be amazing for somebody to find those things. So I think it's really important, if you've been kind of dissed for your age or your lack of experience, this is across the board. I think this happens, like we've said, it's not just spirituality, it's everywhere. But you have to start somewhere, and this is, you know, this is the fear culture that's put on us. People are encouraged to do everything and then they're shot down. It's like it's ridiculous. So it's kind of really important to kind of just shove it all aside, stand in your center and go and do the things that maybe you want to do or share. Don't be afraid. And,
you know, I've had it with coaching especially, you know, I was always like, people would say to me, well, how can you be a life coach? You're 24, like, what have you done with your life? But my life experience was my experience. And, you know, I've coached women sometimes double my age. And, you know, to be named next to Louise Hay, like the incredible Louise Hay on the Soul and Spirit Awards as the most inspiring life coach.
Yeah.
I just thought, what an incredible achievement for a young person who gets judged on their age all the time. Like Hannah will know, like the book nearly didn't happen because of my age. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. I'm old enough to write a book. The book was never the problem. It was my age. But I thought, well, hang on. This is about the book at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think if you are feeling that that's a problem in your life right now, like bring it to someone's attention you think that can help you, to give you the courage to be able to do that, because sometimes we need to do that. But I think the age thing is something that if you're experiencing that, you know, you need to look beyond it, because you know, if something's got to get out there, it should be getting out there.
Definitely. And on the flip as well, and let's not talk about just being too young, sometimes too old is also the problem, you know, maybe not so much in spirituality, but in all aspects of life. Maybe we're looking at bloggers or starting a company. Like my mum, for instance, she's like, you know, sometimes I just feel too old to start my business. I'm like, no!
There's never, I think it's just if you have inspiration and you have a passion for something, you know, not letting something like, oh, you haven't been doing this long enough, or you don't have enough experience or knowledge, or you haven't done what I've done. If that's coming your way, it's time to kind of
do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Do what Emma does. Tell them to fuck off and do it yourself. I didn't tell anybody to fuck off. Can I just clarify? Because I don't want people to take that seriously. But that's the attitude, shall we say. Just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah,
anyway.
Definitely. And I hope to anybody who's heard all these points, I'm sure they're going to be relatable. Everyone will have a relatable point here.
Definitely. Have you got any more points?
I don't have any more points.
Well, we've reached the end. Well, I think that's been really good, actually.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really fun video to just bring it up, bring it to the light a little bit, and just say, do you know what, it's okay. And I also, actually, I'm just going to add in a bonus one. You're not spiritual if you haven't got the perfect life. I feel a lot of people, like I do it, I look at like
we've all done it. Look at
authors, mentors, even Instagram influencers, maybe not even spiritual, like I look at them online and I'm like, oh my god, their lives look so perfect. And then like if we talk about our actual problems, we're not spiritual enough. Like if you've got problems, if you're Jay-Z and you've got 99 problems, you ain't spiritual, babes. That's how I feel. And I'm like, okay, maybe let's not talk all about the nitty gritty of our problems, but if, you know, I'm such a preacher of, if it will help someone, like why wouldn't I talk about it? You know, maybe definitely not all the details, and I obviously never talk about anything until I'm through it, but if it will help someone, why can't we talk about that? Like it's, you know, you guys will see if you've watched my authenticity video all about what the fuck is perfection.
Yeah.
You know, it's about authenticity, not perfection. So sometimes by, you know, we look at people's profiles, we look at people's lives,
and
like,
it's very
perfect.
easy to get swept away, and it's definitely not perfect. There isn't anybody that behind those images and behind whatever's being written that there might be stuff going on, and it's always worth remembering that, because I know from my perspective, I've never openly shared the really negative aspects of my health. I've kept it, and that's not been a bad thing, it's just not something I've wanted to do. I try and be as open as I want to be, but I think it's a case of sometimes people haven't realised of me until they kind of have seen the reality of it. But I think it's about finding that balance that works for you. Remember to look beyond something before you make a judgment.
Definitely, because we can all like fall into that trap of like, you know, my life's going to be so perfect when I got this, when I got that.
We've all done that.
I'm going to be so fucking spiritual when I've got the dream man, I've got all of this. But the learning never stops. Like, you know, again, in my assumptions video I've just posted about what do you assume about me, I spoke about this a lot. Like people were like that you're healed, that you've got the perfect life, that nothing ever goes wrong.
You're worth like 28 million, aren't you?
And I'm worth 28 million as well, apparently. But do you know where that money is?
I'm really baffled, Emma.
I'm baffled because it's not in my bank. I'd love it to be in
my
bank. I'm baffled. But I think, you know, it's just so important to be like, you know, everybody has struggles. Everybody has heartaches. Everybody has sadness.
And it's human. It's okay.
It's human. And having those things doesn't make you any less spiritual. It actually just, you know, if anything, I think it does make you spiritual because you're addressing your karmic lessons. You're addressing
you know,
things.
You're looking at your suffering head on and you're trying to do something about it.
Yeah, you know, as long as you're not victimizing yourself and you're just being practical, I think that is spiritual to deal with it.
I think it's a really positive thing, and I think it's, you know, with all of these things, it's just calling them out. And if you find yourself slipping into those, any of these things that we've talked about, that, you know, flag it up to yourself. Let somebody else flag it up to you, because we've all, I do think we all can slip down the rabbit hole quite easily.
Yeah, definitely.
We can all, but that's why we, you know, have a good network of people around you. Create your kind of, Gabby Bernstein uses the team spiritual running buddies, and I think that's a really good idea. Have those people around you to kind of just, nah, not feeling that, don't be silly, you know, come on, get real there.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video.
I hope so too.
I will link Hannah's podcast website and Instagram down below, so you can go and have a look at it. It's been so lovely having you here. I wish you were in every video now.
And now we can, and you know, I just hope that it helps some people to hear this stuff.
I think it definitely will, because I think the more people who talk about this and are just like, come on, let's just call that bullshit.
Let's get real.
Let's get real here, then it's just going to help people, and people are just going to be like, do you know what, actually I'm not doing such a bad job after all.
No, you're probably doing a lot better than you imagine. I'm pretty sure everybody is.
Definitely, definitely. As long as you're consciously doing stuff and being proactive, like, that is your action.
And be consistent.
Definitely. Consistency is key, as I would say.
It is, and even if it's small.
Loyalty. Loyal. Oh, we should have done that one. You're not spiritual unless you're loyal.
I'm definitely not, Emma.
Queen of loyalty. Hashtag Virgo. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all, and I will see you in my next video, which will be next week. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. Loved it.
Lots of love, guys. Bye.